Hey, Coach.
knee.
Caden Durham, do you have any update on his injury?
Yeah, he's doing great. 100%, 1,000, million. He's doing chin-ups right now.
It happened when the lineman fell on him after the second touchdown?
Yes.
Is that what you saw?
Yes, yep. Those linemen are so agile. Yep. You're not going to get much from me on injuries this week. This is a bye week, so you may not go down that road this week. Unless you guys want to hang out at Our Lady of the Lakes and stay in front of the MRI machine or whatever you guys do. You guys can hang out there.
Well, we still got to try to ask him. I mean, is there anything at this point, like, do you think it could affect his status for Ole Miss?
We think we're injuries are concerned that we'll have our guys for Ole Miss. But, again, we've got 2 weeks here, so, again, we're not going to get into an injury report or say who's probable or doubtful. We've got some guys that are banged up, but we expect them, to be ready for Ole Miss.
One more on that front, unfortunately. Is C.J. Daniels dealing with something? Is his status in question right now?
He had aggravated an old knee injury, but we got good reports on it. So we were obviously concerned because he had an ACL. It was not an ACL. So, but again, those are things that at first you're concerned, but it turned out to be the best case scenario for us.
On Saturday, you said it's going to be a work week. What does the work look like? What do you want to do?
We were in full pads today. We went, just under 2 hours. It was physical out there. We're not at a point where, in our development as a team, where we can kind of just tap the brakes. We just have too much development to be done. Now, we're going to give them, Friday, Saturday. Actually, we're going to give them Friday morning, Friday afternoon, Friday early evening, Friday night, Friday late night, Saturday morning. We're going to give them so much time off. It's a joke, but we try to give them to the sense of they have some time to recover. But we need this work. It's important that we continue to work on the things that have improved, right? I mean, we're getting better as a football team, but we still have a lot of work left, and we need to take advantage of this week.
Along those lines, defensive line, we all said was a big concern coming into this season, but so did special teams feel like a concern. You guys have been pretty good there. What are your thoughts on teams as a whole? You can take them individually if you want, but what's kind of been a positive for you guys that was a question mark going in?
Yeah, we've had up until this point last year, we had 12 returns for 272 yards. I think we've got 2 for something like 30 yards. I mean, that's a huge difference in field position. So that hidden yardage in terms of kickoff and kickoff coverage, we've hit virtually every ball out of the back of the end zone. So Aaron Burrell's made a huge difference there, right? So that's the specialist. I think in terms of punt return, although we haven't hit the big one, we've got a steady guy back there that is a playmaker. And so Xavier Thomas has made a huge difference. Damian Ramos is like money. Like, that guy is solid. He was last year. He continues to be as our field goal kicker. And I think, obviously, the big thing that we're doing really well is positionally, we're really smart in terms of punts. We either knock it down inside the 10 or, we've been really good at positionally punting. And so I think, all in all, special teams have been really good. And that hidden yardage has come out to help us. And that's been, obviously something that you don't normally see, but it affects the scorecard.
Just whether it's Dominic McKinley, Ahmad Bro up front, or P.J. Woodland and Deshaun Spears in the back end of the defense, just what has allowed this freshman 2024 class to kind of show itself, I guess, early in the season?
Spring ball helps. All these kids were here other than McKinley for spring ball. Dominic, is coming on and making progress each and every week in terms of, what he's able to do. He's going to be a really good football player. He's got some work to do, but I like the progress he's making. Ahmad Bro's been really good. I mean, he just is. He's detailed. He's organized in what he's doing every day. He's assignment correct. We ask him to do a specific job, and he does it. Spears is a good tackler. He's long, he's rangy, he's in the right place at the right time. He's feeling his way through it a little bit as a freshman, but when he gains even more confidence, you're going to see him continue to grow. I think all of these guys benefited from spring. McKinley's a little bit of a different, situation because he's so physically gifted.
All right, so this is the first year NFL players have been allowed to wear guardian caps in games. Do you think this is like something that would trickle down to college level as well, or should?
Well, it's available. There's certainly not going to be a situation where if a kid wanted to wear a guardian cap, that a conference is going to say, no, they can't wear it. Nobody has pushed that envelope yet, but I don't see that anybody's not going to be allowed to wear it. But the fact of the matter is, I think that the numbers point that there isn't a huge difference between the guardian cap in a game and not, and I think that that's why a lot have not gone to wearing them. But if there is a change, I'm sure that those that write the rules are going to change that as well. But we've seen it to be a really good piece of our equipment for practices, and we'll see where it goes as it relates to games.
Hey, Coach. How do you defensively? How do you coach eye candy and just teaching guys to know where the ball is at all times and motions and stuff like that?
Well, I think that's the question and the answer in itself. What's the difference between something that actually impacts the play and something that is just there to distract you? And to me, it's being disciplined in your approach. And our players sometimes really need to focus in such a smaller way, and sometimes they're too broad in what they're looking at, and they look at too much. And it's affected us in some instances. And that's where you can be distracted by peripheral motion that has nothing to do with what your job is, i.e. eye candy, right? And so narrowing your focus to what is the most important cue for you is what we really are spending most of our time with our guys. And that's laser focus. That's seeing the corner of the number on the jersey, not the man, the quarterback, the back, the guy that's grilling in the parking lot, the scoreboard. And believe it or not, we have sometimes kids that see too much. And we have to narrow their focus so they're not distracted by that eye candy.
If I could ask you a couple of things about Caden.
Yeah.
Does he pass protect well?
He is competent at pass protection. And competent, for me, we want to get it to a level of competent is he has to think about it. So sometimes he's a click behind. We want it to be kind of an unconscious competence, which means he doesn't have to think about it, right? He just naturally does it, kind of like a Josh Williams. He's at that level of unconscious competence, and he knows naturally, that's where I'm supposed to be, I'm going to do it, I see it, I can go. He's got to think about it, and as he's processing, sometimes he's a little late, but he's competent, and he's working towards that next level.
We've seen it before around here, a guy perceived to be like fourth or fifth on the depth chart back in August kind of surged to the front of the line.
But we've also seen it the other way, that he's an All-American in the making, and he's not quite there yet either.
Right. So has he gotten a lot better since the beginning of August? Was it just a matter of opportunities because he was a true freshman, or what are you seeing out of him?
Yeah, I think it's that. I think it's a freshman that's working through that transition of understanding the playbook, the nuances of playing the game, and just feeling more comfortable in everything that we do. And remember, early on, you know, it was a group of players that had already had some experience that he was working to leapfrog. And through his play, right, when he was given the opportunity in South Carolina, he's made it happen. And so he's earned it through an opportunity that was given to him. But you know, Jackson was a player that played last year that was in front of him. You know, obviously, John Emery was in front of him. An injury happened there. Josh, obviously. So there was a number of backs that were already in front of him, so to speak, because of experience. And through opportunity, he's now taken advantage of it.
Sorry to hammer on a similar topic, but just one of the more noteworthy things to me, I think, about Caden's fast start last game was just the fact that he was on the field to begin with to start both those drives. He's the first back on the field. So I think you and the coaching staff, have you or did you make that kind of determination that he'd be the lead back heading into that game?
Well, again, you know, I'm much more about the player matching, you know, the kinds of plays that we want to run. And the play that we ran on the first play was a swing pass that required great speed. You don't want to swing that out to the field and not have the kind of speed. So that was a play that was designed for a guy like him. The second play was just, you know, he read the counter very well. You know, stepped inside the pulling guard and made that happen on his own. But the first play was designed, you know, for him to be in the game for that kind of play.
Brian, you seem to be a lot more relaxed, joking with us. You know, your post-game pressers have been a lot more, you know, satirical, I guess. Just what is it in this season that's kind of enabled you, I guess, to maybe be a little bit more yourself?
Did you see me with Nussmeier on the sideline? I mean, that didn't look intense. No, I mean, I think I maintain my intensity, you know, when it's game time. You know, that's my office. Like if I had a camera in your office, I'm sure there'd be times where you know, you get intense. I'm sure Wilson doesn't, I know that. But if you had a camera in your office, there's intense moments. But no, I mean, I just think that, you know, there's a lot of coaching. There's a lot of teaching going on, you know, and for me, you know, you have to be able to, you know, get to a lot of guys and you know, talk to a lot of guys at different levels. You know, Nuss and I have got a great relationship where, you know, he responds well if he's leaned on in some instances. You can't lean on him like that all the time, but there are times when you need to lean on him, you know.
I was more interested in the levity, the levity that you bring. It seems different than my recollection of you in the past, I guess. Do you feel like you've had a little bit of a rebirth here?
Oh, I love it. It's comfortable. I think I don't have to feel like you can't, you know, joke around a little bit without being taken too serious. So for me, you know, I have to check myself at times because I think a couple of weeks ago I was a little bit too sarcastic in the press room. So I have to check myself too. But by and large, it's I enjoy it here. I love being the head coach at LSU, and it's a place that, you know, for me, it feels real comfortable.